face.
Do it.
You're not in the.
No one wants
You're
to
not
see
in the light, Carla.
I'm not, but I'm okay with that. Where do you want me?
No, back a little tiny bit. There we go.
So this is a super old story I dug out. I've never read this before. I should swallow my gum. Hold on.
You know what they put in that stuff? No.
It's set in South Africa. It's short. It's 3 pages, and I wrote this a long time ago. The weird part is it's written from a male perspective, so it's a male point of view, and that's important. Well, no, but it gets a little weird. This is for all the gays. My friend Jeremy and I ducked into a doorway in a piss-reeking alleyway. It was our last night together, and we had driven from Johannesburg to Pretoria, the home of the nationalists, the Nats as we like to call them, to check out the Fridge, a new underground club located downtown near the train station. There was nothing cold about it. It was a bloody hotbox. The black interior was broken only by a lightning strobe, a stroke-inducing epileptic nightmare, but its frenzy suited our mood. The place was packed. Man, we were stoked. And stoned. Stoned, as Jeremy liked to say. He was leaving for London in a few days, escaping the Nats, another degenerate, as they like to call us, fleeing the draft. Nellie the elephant was booming. Jeremy pointed to a fat chick and made a slurpy tongue in front of his nose with his arm. I laughed. We were dressed in our standard garb, black Levi's, black t-shirts, black Doc Martens we had bought 2 weeks ago at the Indian Bazaar, the day after we matriculated from Johannesburg High School for Boys. Degenerate hopefuls circled the dance floor like crazies around a campfire. We made our way to the bar, scoping out the room, getting a feel for the vibe. It was crucial to check shit out, scour the room for the Billy Bashers and the fine, upstanding fellows of the Narcotics Bureau. The room looked clean, nothing out of place, no unexplained shadows lurking in its corners. Nellie was followed by Love Cats, and the crazies broke into a dancing merry-go-round, a punk poga polka. Round and round, up and down. No rough stuff, no body slamming, not like the Joburg clubs we usually go to. Tame lot, the P-Town people. When we reached the bar, the clashes, should I stay or should I go, started. Jeremy laughed. Go! Go! He shouted, fist in the air. Absolutely, definitely, no two ways about it. Go! 2 black labels, I yelled at the woman with the coal-ringed eyes. Degenerates drank Black Label beer, the drink of choice of the gold mine workers. Ordering one was a small gesture of solidarity and a fuck you to the Nats. Ordering a blackie in the wrong place would get your ass kicked. Handing me the beers, she yelled, "You guys, new, not here before." Lost in the black circles of her eyes, I failed to react. My brain was off on a merry excursion. A mind melt. She held up 4 fingers. Right, right. I handed her a 10 Rand note. Offer, acceptance, transaction complete. My brain relaxed again, settling in there. There's no thought, but none zone. Stoner's paradise. That zone. Jeremy nodded his head to the beat yelling, "Go now!" in time with the song. He looked like he was in the zone too. Raccoon Girl handed over my change. Her eyeliner had smeared and she would mind meld it into a bandit raccoon. "Hi-ho, Silver!" I whooped, taking a long swig of beer. Jeremy grabbed the other and did the same. "Shots!" I yelled. "Tequila!" he hollered. A flash of silver behind the bar caught my eye. A sword. Duck! I grabbed Jeremy's head, clutching it to my chest. Duck, duck, goose, went my brain. But it was only the tequila bottle. Zorro chick poured 2 stiff shots and said, "B6. Her fingers multiplied in the strobe. Jeremy slid her a credit card. She shook her head. No can do. He looked confused. No liquor license. She rubbed her fingers together in the universal symbol for cash. Cashly. Jeremy handed a wad of notes to her. Sorry. How's this? Let another one. Keep some for yourself. Her mask stretched wide. They sure weren't used to the big city spenders like us out here in the boonies. The tequila kept coming, and we kept drinking. Remember that time when we and Sir took the strop when we won that rugby match? Boys' night. Yeah. I love you, man. Then stay. Come with me to London. What are you gonna do? Do in the army? Think I'm not man enough? Fuck you! Jeremy shoved back. Fuck you, I'll show you. I wanted to show Jeremy that I was man enough, tough enough, that I could make it in the army on my own. I wanted to show him I was the real deal, not some chicken shit running off to London, not some draft fucking dodger like him. That night, man, what a haze. Waking up early, cold, huddled together in the back of his dad's Mercedes. My head on Jeremy's chest, his arm curled around my shoulders. Every particle in my stomach doing its own freak show somersault. Bile rose in my throat. Door open, I puked a stream of pure alcohol. Tequila, neat, straight up. Or should I say down? I chucked until the dry vapors came out. We got dressed and drove back to Johannesburg in silence. Jeremy dropped me off at my fogey's house. We shook hands, not looking each other in the eyes. It was our brotherhood handshake. Palms clasped, release, reverse, return, ending with our thumbs pressed together while we gripped each other's hands. We kept the pressure on, pad to pad, for a moment longer than usual. Later, man, I said, and slammed the car door. Months later, leopard crawling on my stomach through the bush. I wanted to tell Jeremy he was right about the fucking army. I wanted to tell him I wish I was in London, too. As the rat-tat-tat-tat of the rebels' AK-47s closed in, I wanted to tell you, fuck, man, fuck. Looks like my goose is cooked. When the grenade dropped and rolled closer, I wanted to tell him, fuck, man, fuck. I love you, too.